The European Union convicted and fined Intel on antitrust grounds, and Team Obama looks to be even more militant on the antitrust attack. So why are they gunning for America's great companies? Joining me now, James Glassman. Oh, my goodness. Former Undersecretary of State and columnist for Kiplinger's Personal Finance. Good to see you, Jimmy. And Donald Baker, former head of the Antitrust Division for the Department of Justice. Mr. Baker, we are honored. Ms. Baker, I don't like this attack one bit, and I got to tell you, there's something called a coercive monopoly, which means you cut production and jack up prices to hurt consumers. I don't think there's any evidence that Intel was guilty of this. I don't think there's any evidence that Google might be guilty of this. I didn't think there was any evidence that Microsoft was guilty. I think consumers have benefited. What's your take?
My take is somewhat different. I think those have all been innovative companies. I'm not here because I don't know the record in the European case, but the way I see the law as it should be, and I think as the Europeans to some extent are applying it, is it's like pass interference in football. You want the monopolist to defend its territory, but you don't want him to defend and win by pushing the other player down. And I think when you pay when someone with a very dominant position pays manufacturers not to carry anybody else's stuff, if that's a dominant company, I don't think they should be able to do it.
All right, Jim Glassman, let me go to you. Big story in the paper about this. Christine Varney is the new head of the Antitrust Division of the Department of Justice. And she wants to be very aggressive and go after a bunch of companies because of market dominance, quote unquote, market dominance. Now, Jim, I ask you the same question that I asked Don. What market dominance doesn't mean anything. What if consumers benefit? What if the economy benefits?
Well, that's exactly right. Larry, market dominance does not equal an antitrust violation. That's absolutely true. By the way, this decision by the Europeans was absolutely outrageous, and they were joking about how the $1.5 billion is going to the European Commission and maybe it'll be sent to Europe's taxpayers, as though this is, again, some kind of competitive edge that the Europeans are taking over the United States. I think this is something to really, really worry about.
How does Intel hurt European consumers? Would you explain that to me, Jimmy? And how does Intel hurt American consumers? Because that's the next issue. Why isn't anyone supporting the United States and its great companies that are helping world growth, world consumers, and world business? I don't get this. Why did we let the EU off? Not a peep heard out of the White House on this EU attack. Does anybody defend American business anymore?
Well, I do. That was an anti-competitive decision. It was an anti-free trade decision. And Intel is a company, talk about companies that behave very well. Intel is putting billions and billions of dollars into innovation. It is an act of faith, quite frankly, that they're going to be able to develop new products and sell them. They've cut their prices by 60% over the past year.
I mean, they wish chip prices would go up. They never go up. Don Baker, I'm going to give you the last word because, once again, how can a monopoly be coercive if you're producing great products like chips and the price keeps going down and everybody benefits? Why don't we defend America?
The reason, when we have global companies that dominate markets, we should expect them to be subject to other people's rules, and these aren't rules that are singled out for American companies.
All right. Unfortunately, got to go out. We need a longer discussion. I'm sorry.
I would welcome the chance to come back
next time. Jim Glassman, thank you. Donald Baker, thank you both.